Welcome to Fab for Less and another budget deck tech. Today we've got a classic constructed deck costing only £50. That includes delivery and it's going to be competitively viable. We're on Boltyn and we're hunting dragons. Let's get in. Sir Boltyn, Breaker of Dawn as he's known by his full title, is the warrior hero from Monarch. He has the ability to be able to banish a card from Soul to give a target attack go again as long as its power is greater than its base. He works well with his dragon slaying sword, Raiden, but really in this deck we're looking for those on-hit effects which work when they hit dragons and not just when they hit heroes. We're also going to be popping some dragons with our 6+ power attacks. In our loadout we've got the Helm of Sharp Eye. This is good for blocking 1 hit point before we're able to pay 1 to banish the top card of our deck, and we can play it on that combat chain just so long as we've charged. Blossom of Spring replaces Fiondel's Spring Tunic in this budget build. Gallantry Gold protects us for 1 and also has a relevant ability. The Snapdragon Scalers can get our combat chain moving. We've also got Braces of Belief which can provide a buff and a null rune for those wizards. This deck is all about charging. We want to charge cards into our soul and build up plenty of cards for those big pivot turns. Many of our cards that charge also have on-hit effects which will work when they hit those dragons. As well as charging our first attack, we want to buff it so that its power is greater than its base power, enabling Boltyn to banish a card from soul to give it go again. We've got plenty of cards that enable us to do this, and we've also got Braces of Belief. If we're feeling really aggressive, we can run this from the start and it threatens to get that combat chain moving from the get-go. The key to hunting dragons in this deck is setting up a big turn with multiple on-hit effects. Most of our cards read if this hits, then their effect will trigger, not if this hits a hero. That means they trigger if they hit dragons. We can also lure dragons into our trap with our many 6+ power attacks to trigger Phantasm. We're going to need to set up for our big pivot turns, so we're going to need some defensive capabilities. Sink Below helps us with this, allowing us to filter our hand. Steel Blade Shunt blocks 6 and also provides a win con against some other heroes that like to use their weapons. And Beacon of Victory allows us to go and search out the cards we need for those big turns. Fog Down might seem like a strange include, but in a Viserai heavy meta, this can literally time walk our opponents. Via the Vanguard is our main big hitter. We want to arsenal this card and set up for a really big pivot turn. Luminous Ascension is also capable of some big hits. It also lets us put some cards in soul and gain us some life. Here's our sample dragon slaying turn. We're going to play Via the Vanguard from Arsenal. We're going to charge and we're going to pitch with a blue card. That gives us 2 resources remaining. We're going to banish a card from Soul to give it go again as it's buffed by 1. We're then going to use the Helm of Sharp Eye. We're going to break that to banish a card from the top of our deck. We're going to play a Bolt of Courage, which has the on-hit effect of drawing a card. So we're going to target a dragon. It's buffed by 1 from Via the Vanguard, so we can banish a card from Soul to give it go again. On hit, we'll draw a card. And the dragon will perish. We've drawn another Bolt of Courage. We're then going to play this one out. We're going to target an Aether Ashwing. We're going to banish a card from Soul to give it go again as it's buffed from Via the Vanguard's effect. And on hit we'll draw. I'm going to play an Engulfing Light. We're going to target another Ashwing. And we're going to banish a card from Soul to give it go again. On hit, the Engulfing Light will go to Soul. This doesn't close the combat chain. We then play another Engulfing Light, targeting another dragon. Banish a card from Soul to give it go again. On hit, the engulfing light will go to Soul. We'll then swing Radiant at our opponent for 4, thanks to Via the Vanguard's effect. We'll banish a card as an attack reaction to give it go again. We'll then crack the Blossom of Spring, which will give us the extra resource we need to play the Bolting Blade that we banished earlier, and that will go at our opponent for 8, pushing damage and slaying dragons. This deck's pretty low to the ground, but those blue pitch cards can help us against those icy heroes and their frostbite effects. 30 cards that charge the Soul, and 20 on-hit effects that will be useful against those dragons. This deck has 15 Majestic cards, which is a high count for a budget build. We've got 15 rare, and it includes a full loadout and sideboard, 80 cards total. We had a £50 budget for this deck, and we came in using the Cardmarket Shopping Wizard at €55.37. At the current exchange rate, that's under budget at £46.73. This build of Sir Boltyn is a lot of fun to play, and it's a great deck for learning the fundamentals of the game if you're a newer player. We're going to be testing this deck at a competitive event at Candlekeep soon. Subscribe for the gameplay.